I'm Chimomo Mangazi with Business Time on Times. It is a magazine program where we bring you business and economic news stories making headlines. In the program today, stakeholders in the tobacco industry taking heed of President Lazarus Chakwera's advice. Also in the program, electricity generation company releases 18 megawatts to the national grid. We have these and other stories. Stay tuned. Hello and welcome. Stakeholders in the tobacco industry have indicated that they are taking necessary steps to amend laws governing the tobacco industry and promote crop diversification among farmers as advised by President Lazarus Chakwera. The president challenged the stakeholders to reposition the industry to protect farmers while understanding that it is fast dying. We caught up with Minister of Agriculture, Lobin Lowe, when he opened the Limbi auction floors in Blantyre.
In fact, to say the truth, tobacco industry is nosediving because the production every year is declining. There's a message there. So we cannot force matters. It is dying. That's why, as a ministry, we are going to diversification. We are promoting other crops apart from tobacco. In this case, we are talking of cotton, which was almost dying. It collapsed, so we are reviving it to make sure that the cotton farmers this time will celebrate. At the same time, we are looking into horticulture, fruit production, to bananas to be specific. There is a high importation of bananas. A lot of bananas are imported from Tanzania. Yet previously, we used to grow bananas in Chora and Murangi. The industry almost collapsed. So we looked into all the challenges that made the banana to decline in Murangi and Choro. And this time what we are trying to do is to make sure that the whole country grows banana. And there is a strategy. Very soon you will agree with me. Everywhere we will have a lot of bananas and importation will reduce. I always indicate that in any perfect market, a principle of demand or forces of demand and supply should be respected. So for a start, this is what we have witnessed. Buyers are offering above minimum price in some cases. So what I will be doing is to have surprise visits in all these markets to make sure that they sustain these prices.
And Harry Nkandawire is board chairperson for the Tobacco Commission.
We have engaged the committee, agriculture. Even today, I was talking to Honorable Bande, who is an MP for this area in Blantyre. He is also a member of the agriculture committee in Parliament. So we'll be engaging the agriculture committee. My CEO went to meet them. So there are several areas that we'll be looking into. The so-called child labor, and then there are some areas that we would be looking into, especially the one that you started asking me about the contract and then auction system, and the problem that the auction system is facing. That's a good question. We asked them, all what they are saying is that wherever they are taking the tobacco to, the owners, the ones who are ultimately buying this tobacco, they want to traceability of the tobacco. They are saying they want to make sure that child labor is abolished. So all these issues we are looking into are the reasons that our buyers are not very keen to buy to buy the auction tobacco.
But are farmers impressed with how the market has started this year? A question for Tobacco Association of Malawi President Abiel Kalimabanda.
Yeah, as a farmer, I'm impressed with the current prices being offered here at Limbe auction for, because this is the first time to see a very good tobacco offered at the market as I've seen today than ever before.
But we hear the rejection rate is way high, 72%.
Yes, because we have two systems of marketing. There is contract marketing and auction marketing. So the rejection is on contract marketing. Always, I don't know what's wrong with buyers, but the rejection is as high as it is. So the remedy is just to sit down with buyers, government, and all stakeholders to mark the way forward.
We hear they seem to be sending a message that auction market should be abolished. Is that an option?
No, to abolish the auction market is not an option. Since the first option is to sit down with buyers and all stakeholders to map the way forward, not to abolish the auction system, because the buyers cannot afford to contact all the farmers in Malawi 100% on contract. Never.
Looking at the prices offered, do you expect farmers to earn as they earned last year, or go beyond what they earned last year?
Looking at the prices offered on contract, the farmers think they may have just a little bit higher than last year's marketing season.
The electricity generation company, Egenco, has started releasing 18 megawatts to the national grid from its Tezani 4 power station on pilot basis. This is expected to lessen power challenges facing the manufacturing industry and the entire nation. Recently, the Malawi Confederation of Chambers of Commerce and Industry listed energy wars as one of the challenges which largely affected businesses last year. Our journalist Justin Kweu caught up with Egenco spokesperson Moses Gwaza.
The Tezani 4 project is going on well, and at the moment we have done 99% of the work, meaning that we are now almost finished. What we're doing at the moment is what we call commissioning tests. As you may be aware, a generating machine is a complex machine with the various parts and systems working together. So what we're doing now is to see all those parameters if they are working according to the desired setup. So we call this process commissioning test. You're running the machine but on trial to see if all the systems are working perfectly. To also see if you are able to get the required megawatts out of the machine. So once this is done, then we should be able to have the machine being operated now at commercial level, giving service to the nation.
What does this mean to you, firstly to the country in terms of the supply of electricity?
Well, it means that now as a country we are going to add 18 megawatts. 18 megawatts is a lot of power, because if you talk to ESCOM, they will tell you that the whole northern region at off-peak only requires about 19 megawatts. So if we are bringing in 18 megawatts, it means that we are adding capacity to the nation, and we are moving forward as a company and as a country as well in terms of electricity generation. So it's a very exciting moment for us as a company and of course as a nation, because now we are able to add some megawatts to the national grid.
You are one of the country's independent power producers. When you produce power, you sell to ESCOM for distribution. What does this mean business-wise to Egenco?
Well, this means that, one, as a company, we are able to fulfill our mandate, because our mandate in the country is to generate power and sell it to the single buyer, which is currently at Power Market Limited. So this means that on our part as a generating company, we are able to increase capacity, because that is one of our major issues that we have to deal with. We have to increase the capacity, the generating capacity. So when we add 18 megawatts like this, it's a very exciting moment for us, because we know that we are able to meet our mandate. Secondly, it also means that we are going to have flexibility in terms of how we operate the machines, because what it means is that we now have Tezani 1, Tezani 2, Tezani 3 and Tezani 4, and including the other power stations which are cascaded along the Shire River. So in terms of operation, it also gives us flexibility to see which machine we can run which machine we can stop and do some rehabilitations or maintenance. So all these things added together, it means that we're going forward in as far as electricity generation is concerned.
Moving forward, going ahead, what are your plans in terms of providing electricity to the country?
Well, at the moment we are able to generate enough power for the nation. You may agree with me that you no longer experience blackouts. If blackouts are still out there, normally it's because of a localized fault in a particular area, but not necessarily because of load shedding. So we want to continue in that direction. We want to continue to add capacity. Right now we are talking about completing Tedzani 4 by end of this April. After that we are immediately going into the Kamamba coal plant. As you may be aware, we are now concluding feasibility studies.
Remember, this is Business Time on Times, a magazine program where we bring you major business and economic news stories making headlines. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Nico Holdings Limited PLC has registered an 18% increase in profit in 2020 to 18.6 billion kwacha from 14.73 billion kwacha in 2019. Its managing director Vizenge Kumwenda attributes the growth to the good performance of its bank and life assurance businesses. Kumwenda explains.
The first thing that comes to mind when looking at the 50 years is the way we have offered services to our clients in a manner that has been very courageous, in the sense that we do provide services, we do investments. We set up companies. All these provide opportunities to either employment opportunities or business opportunities. And if you see some of these things we're doing, they are such that it takes a lot of courage, to do them, because perhaps they've never been done before. And then, because we have a team we believe in, and all these years, if you look at it, obviously our people, have been at the center of it. Well trained, know how to treat customers, and the structured, solutions and services to address the challenges that our clients are facing. We've been able to do that. And so when we look back, we're saying, look, we never thought we would achieve this, but here we are. And I must say, that gives us a lot of courage, such that we're saying, look, if we've done this for the past 50 years, actually we are set to do more, because if you look at the capacity we have now internally, but also through our partners out there, we have such huge capacity to service our clients. And let me add to say, you see, financial services, the proportion of the public enjoying financial services is still very low, more so with insurance.
The Electricity Supply Corporation of Malawi, ESCOM, has provided 10 million kwacha to 25 outstanding female students pursuing electrical engineering courses at the Polytechnic and the Malawi University of Science and Technology, MUST, as sponsorship. The initiative is aimed at encouraging girls to pursue such careers, which are dominated by males. Gare Samati has more in this report.
The Electricity Supply Corporation of Malawi, ESCOM, has moved from 7% female employees in 2019 to 14% in the year ending 2020. The company looks to increase the number of its female employees through a social and gender inclusion project, which seeks to nurture future female employees from a young age. As such, ESCOM introduced the scholarship project in 2017, which has seen some electrical engineering female students earn internship opportunities as well as school fees scholarships. Charles Kagona is ESCOM's acting director of planning and development.
ESCOM is a predominantly an engineering organization, and over the years we noted that there has been little participation in whatever is ESCOM doing as regards to women's involvement. So we had to look at the situation, and we decided to address the problem from the source, because the problem has been the market itself. There weren't good enough qualified women to join ESCOM. So that's why we decided to start supporting students right from their school days. Today we have launched a new window of scholarships for 4 years.
Adres Malata, MAST Vice Chancellor, called on other companies to follow what ESCOM is doing. She further challenged the two universities to work together in improving the education quality in the country.
The Polytechnic, which is becoming MUBAS very soon, and us, we already work together. At the moment, we have a project with Rice University where we have places in our two institutions where students can do innovations. So you saw during COVID-19 that many of our students were actually coming up with those innovations, the face shields, even face masks. They were even working on nebulizers. So we are working together. We actually have staff that work between the two institutions. Moving forward, we are very close in terms of many programs that we do. And so sometimes staff at MAST teach at Poly and staff at Poly teach at MAST. What we are saying is moving forward, perhaps instead of competing, we should be complementing. So we want to see a situation where when we introduce programs at MAST, Poly doesn't take the same programs. And when Poly also has new programs, we don't rush for those programs. We rather concentrate on gaps that exist in this nation. And the gaps are too many. If we do it in that way, then it makes sure it will actually help our country, because the input into Malawi is going to be better. A small country with so many needs, but as the government is multiplying universities, if these universities are looking at gaps and making sure they complement each other, I think we can make better progress as a nation. Thinking as MAST that instead of us always looking to outside the country, can we start coming up with our own innovation? So vaccines should be something that MAST can do. And we are saying this because we have seen with COVID-19 that we've been able to do so much. Our equipment for testing COVID was not bought by government. We actually sourced our own equipment and put up a testing center at our institution. So a few weeks ago when we had COVID-19 on campus, we actually did the testing on campus. We were able to test as many students. Government came in because it was like a crisis, but it was not like MAST didn't have anything. That's the spirit we want to see in higher education in public universities. If you look at the vaccines that are being used all over the world, they're coming from universities, Oxford and other universities. That's what we want to see at MAST, and you see it being done because we have a medical academy there. Our focus is looking at diagnostics, and as I said earlier on, when you look at diagnostic centers, even where we are testing COVID in Malawi, you will find many of our students, graduates as well as those that are already in senior years. And that's what we want to see for the nation. Make a difference in Malawi, not always looking at what other countries can do. Let's not underrate ourselves. There's potential here, there's brilliance in Malawi. There are people that can make decisions and also come up with innovations in science and of course technology.
The 25 female students have each received at least 40,000 kwacha as school fees for their outstanding academic performance and a chance to get an internship opportunity at the company.
Well, with that story, we've come to the end of today's edition of Business Time here on Times. It is a magazine program where we bring you major business and economic news stories making headlines in the country. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Chimwe Mangazi. But always remember, if it doesn't make money, it doesn't make sense. Bye for now.